Hey Starlings, I have been meaning to get this video out since before my vacation, but I have a lot of people that are handicapped or know people that are handicapped, disabled, paralyzed, what have you, that have been wondering what was it like traveling to all the places I've traveled to, more specifically Mexico and Aruba, and how accessible were they and what did I do to get around if certain parts weren't accessible. So I'm just going to put this whole video together. This is for Mexico and the coast the part of the coast that I stayed on, and hopefully this will be helpful to you. Now the places I stayed at were Cancun and Riviera Maya, and the places I had excursions were Tulum, Chichen Itza, different shopping centers, and Xcaret. So I'm going to cover all of those, and you're going to take a shot every time I say in this video. To get to and from the airport, I used Cancun Accessible. I really do trust them. They were great. I really did like the van that they had. Great transportation. I used them for Chichen Itza, a dolphin excursion, and Tulum. They offer different excursions, and we went through them for the first time I went to Mexico, and they were great. I highly recommend them, because you never know what sketchy things or sketchy companies could do to you, especially in another country. Now Cancun itself, they do have ramps like within the city and within the hotel zone, but do be warned that not all of the ramps to get on sidewalks are great. It's kind of like they just took a chunk out of the concrete, flattened the part they took the chunk out of, and said, that's a ramp. So while there are painted signs for wheelchairs for some of the ramps to get across streets or to get through the breaks, there are not many of those, and if there are some, they are very, very sketchily made. It's because they don't have the Disability Act in place there, and I can't blame them for that. The hotel zone is great. All the employees within the hotel zone are so nice, and they want to help you, and they genuinely want to help you. It's better than most service I've ever gotten while in the States on vacation. Oops. But they are willing to help you get to the beach. They have specialized wheelchairs at some of the resorts for you to get to the beach, because wheelchairs and sand don't mix like oil and water. Don't try it, your wheels will sink. But do be warned that if they want to help you, they want to help you like really, really fast. So if you do need something done that's special, slow them down, explain to them what happens, what you need to happen, and how to go about it, or else they might do something incorrect or something wrong and they will feel really bad, and you don't want that because they're so nice, and you'll feel bad. I felt that a couple of times. Be sure to do great research on what villa/hotel room you will be staying in, because the restrooms in Cancun, while nice and really, really good, if you can't transfer yourself, you will need help, because the bathrooms are very small. You have like toilet here and the tub's like right next to it, and then the door. It's very, very small. I needed help on both occasions, and at both resorts I stayed at, both Riviera Maya and Cancun, but Riviera Maya was worse, and I had to use the master suite just to get into the shower. So there is that. If you cannot walk and you have no one to help you transfer, you're gonna need to reevaluate where you're staying and how you're going to do your trip. But they do offer shower chairs. You just have to really specify what you do need, because they have different options. We had to go through a couple. Excursion-wise, I went to Chichen Itza and Tulum when I was in Cancun, and I also went to a dolphin excursion. Dolphin excursion, right off the bat, it was great. It was a nice building. It was a solid structure, ramps everywhere. They were good ramps. A little steep, but they were good. They help carry you into the water, the employees. If you can't walk on your own or if you need assistance, they are there to help you, and they are very, very good at helping. Chichen Itza is really, really nice. It's all flat land. It's like in the meadow of a huge jungle. The paths are dirt paths, and my wheelchair, it's a manual wheelchair, and I got through it just fine, but I did get tired. So if you have no one to push you, you might want to invest in a little electric chair, or have someone there to help push you. One thing I didn't like about the excursions at Cancun Accessible and most of all of the Mexican excursions are that they offer cenotes at the end of the trip along with a lunch. I could do the lunch part, I could do the eating part, but what I couldn't do was the cenote. And if you don't know what a cenote is, it is a giant hole in the earth with water at the bottom. It's Mother Nature's pool. The ones that we saw were about 50 feet. It was like a 50-foot drop, and the steps are very rickety, they're very unstable, they're not good to be carried down, so that I skipped, and they took us to a plaza that wasn't touristy, it was like all locals, so that was a really good trade because I got to see what it was like living in Mexico. Tulum was also the same in regards to pretty flat. They did have, it was not cobblestone, but there were stones embedded into the dirt and clay, making the ride a little bumpy, but it wasn't bad. Another thing is you might have to watch going to Tulum because there's not a lot of shady spots, and if you have any sun sensitivity, whether that's skin, eyes, any sensory things, you might want to skip it or figure out with your tour guide or your concierge how to go about doing that if you really want to go, which I highly recommend because Tulum was beautiful. And so the restaurant was really, really yummy too. But you won't be able to go into the cenote. I'm sorry. Moving on from Cancun, I also stayed in Riviera Maya, which is about a 40 to 45 minute drive away from Cancun and Cancun City. Their hotels down there are sparse and spread apart, but they are also very, very lovely. I really did like them. We went to Playa, which is a cool shopping center for both the locals and tourists. It is 38 blocks, I remember, of shops and stores. A lot of the stores in Mexico have curbs that your chair won't be able to get over. I have a small to medium-sized manual chair that's not heavy, so I needed 2 people to lift me into like 89 to 90% of the stores. But then again, a lot of the workers there are more than happy to help you. And this is just for Playa specifically. It is a lot of hills, so I needed someone to help push me for pretty much all of it, to be honest. But if you do go to any of the shopping centers in Cancun City, Riviera Maya, anywhere on that coast, a lot of the smaller shops and even some of the bigger stores have those curbs. Some of them have 2, and some of them have a lot of steps. So there's that to consider. But a lot of them are advancing and putting in ramps, slabs of concrete that you can roll up into, which is nice. But even some of the stores that had double stories, no elevator. So I kind of stayed on the ground level. I had no choice. Personally, I liked Riviera Maya a little bit more just because the excursions were so cool. It was in the jungle. I went to Xcaret, which is like their version of Disneyland minus roller coasters and rides, but they had a beautiful bird exhibit, a butterfly exhibit. They had their famous river that you got to swim through. I got to swim through it. I do have medical ports in my body, and I was really, really nervous, like saying, oh, is this river freshwater? Because there could be a lot of bacteria in it that could harm me. It's not. It is all saltwater, straight from the ocean, and it's a lot of cave systems. So there's not a lot of light, but they do give you life jackets and flippers, but I didn't need flippers because I don't use my legs to swim. But I swam the whole river and I was very proud of myself. But boy, were we all humid and very, 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 very tired at the end of it. By far, the trails in Xcaret were the most difficult to navigate. The rocks are not laid as nicely there, so you're gonna have a very bumpy ride, and it's a very, very, very big place in the middle of the jungle. There's that too. A pro tip, if you do want to go to Xcaret, go during the morning and stay till the night show. The night show is really, really cool. It's amazing. I loved it. It's very Mexico patriotic, and you'll learn a lot of the history from their Aztec and Mayan tribes all the way up to modern day, and it's so cool. I loved it. And another pro tip, on the trails they are all color coded with stones, and if you kind of like, as they put it, straddle the colored tiles, it will be the smoothest route, so you're gonna be in people's way because, you know, aisles. You're gonna piss off a lot of the tourists, but it's gonna be the smoothest ride. It's your best chance of not bouncing around everywhere and getting a headache and getting tired. So that's a pro tip. Just follow the trails and stay right in the middle. Keep both wheels on both sides and you'll be great. Overall, I really do like Mexico. It was more accessible than I thought it was going to be. Some excursions are a no-go for me being a paraplegic only, and I have no capability of walking, but I can transfer. In Riviera Maya, they have buses and shuttles, and so they just kind of tossed my wheelchair into one of the back seats and put me into a regular seat in the van. They don't have specialized one, kind of like Cancun Accessible, but that was fine. But if you have a heavier or larger chair, that could be another issue. You would have to talk with your concierge at whatever resort you're staying at. Maybe they have something different that will be better applicable to you. But I do love Cancun, and I also love Riviera Maya, and I just love Mexico as a whole. This is just this coast of Mexico. I had not been past it, so I don't know what the other side of Mexico is like. I don't know what the middle of Mexico is like. This is just from my personal experience being to Mexico 2 times so far, and hopefully going for a 3rd. Both all that being said, Starlings, I hope this video is helpful to any of my disabled followers, my handicap followers. I love all of you, and I really do hope that you will look into Mexico. It is a beautiful experience. All of my social media links are down in the description box below, with lulu.com, where I sell my books. I have 4 books out now. I'm very, very proud of each and every single one of them. On Patreon, you can join the Starlings family for as low as $1 a month to get content that you will never see anywhere else. Comment down below what you liked about this video, what you didn't like about this video, any questions you may have that I did not cover. I will do my very, very best to answer it for you. The next accessible tour video will be on Aruba, because it is different than Mexico in a lot of different aspects. Be sure to give this video a like if you liked it. If not, you can also dislike it. Freedom of speech, freedom of pressing things, I don't know. I also have coupon codes down below in my description box to save you money on beauty products and clothing alike. With all that being said, Starlings, I shall see ya later. I want popcorn, and my battery's about to die.